Hello YouTube and welcome to some amount of episodes of Kubikiri Cycle. I'm pretty sure it's going to be one, but I'm still planning out some watch order stuff and that kind of thing. Just because I want to catch up this week, but also I've been told to do 7 and 8 together, so am I just going to do 5 this week, 6 next week, and then 7, 8 the week after, or should I do 2 next week, or... Anyway, I'm sure somebody can tell me. Either way, we're back here again for more Kubikiri Cycle. Very excited to be here. Very blue as well, which is a little bit strange. But we'll see if the lighting improves over time. It's always a little bit of a struggle. Last week we had 2 episodes, very, very interesting episodes in my opinion, and now I've got some comments to look at with regards to said episodes as they are here. Still in the light mode because I think it does better for the lighting. I know, record time, I've mentioned it twice in the video so far. But anyway, I digress. First comment here, Chance Lewis. When Ichan mentions destruction, he meant he slept with her for the wrong reasons, mostly negative reasons. So I guess it's with a little bit of purple prose, they say it, for lack of a better term, in the show. It means that, yeah, he's just slept with her and then nothing's changed. He didn't do it out of love, he did it for the wrong reasons, and nothing changed as a result. Akane's plan, it didn't work. So I'm happy that they have slept together in the past. I'm happy that I caught that part. It's just that, yeah, nothing changed. Their relationship, it didn't progress. There's something holding it back. I think that's what we're getting at there. Next comment here by Hot Wheels Kid. I want to pick on Ichan too. Everyone seems to be having so much fun with it, especially Maki. She's a demon with it. Absolutely. I love episode 4 a lot. It's really cool. It's probably why I ended up picking up the books. It was probably the best episode so far, I must say. Just the bringing in the concepts and that kind of thing. Just more to kind of chew on with your brain, if that makes any sense. But yeah, there's some stuff going on in the background that I want to talk about as well. I've got a little bit of a crack theory cooking about who did it, and I want to get into that in a little bit. Usually for something like Monogatari, I like to bring up character stuff that's in the book but not in the show, but I feel like understanding who the characters are and why they do what they do is the best part of Mono. I think the best part is Zaragoto too, but since it's a mystery novel, I don't want to accidentally lead you with any like reasoning stuff or that kind of thing, which just makes sense. Just, yeah, for now, you can, hey, spill the beans once we finish. I'm very happy for you guys to do that, or after some amount of the kill is revealed or anything like that. I know that you guys have pretty good judgment with that kind of stuff. But yeah, because Monogatari isn't a mystery per se, it kind of is, but not really, pointing people in the right direction in a show like this, in Kubikiri Cycle, in Zaregoto, would probably lead to destruction, for lack of a better term. Just know that I'm screaming every time there's an incredibly bizarre or poignant line of dialogue or narration that's just not in the OVA. Episode 3 had a doozy. Yeah, it's the plight of the source material reader, I tell you that. You experience a story one way, you see all the different details, and I'm sorry, some stuff has to get cut. Potentially they've made bad choices for what gets cut, but that's another question entirely. I would be interested in at least giving the first novel a read after I'm done here. It seems interesting. I like mystery. I like whodunits as a genre, and we're going into some interesting character stuff for sure. And just a little reply here at the end as well. P.S. In Japan, people are minors until they turn 20. So Kubikiri Cycle takes place in early April, right about now. It's like I'm in the show. It's like I'm in the show. Somebody could walk into this room very shortly and murder me. They could. I don't think it's going to happen though. Yeah, we've been through the whole Japan minors characters look like certain things debacle already, I think. Next comment here by John Bueno. I don't have much to say regarding Zaragoto as I have for Monogatari, but I thoroughly enjoy your reactions, so I'm going to try to leave a comment for the algorithm anyway. I'm not sure how much this does, but thank you. I'm sure it does something. It can't, like, hurt. Yeah, it's hard to pick up when stuff gets picked up by the algorithm because it's such an episodic thing. So the Monogatari season first episode has done quite well over time because I'm guessing people just get recommended whatever Monogatari episode's out this week, and then they're like, shit, I'm gonna go back and check out the first one. And then the first one's quality is like dog shit. So that's not a good sign. Maybe I should have done some practice stuff before jumping right into Monogatari, but anyway, that was past. That was in the past stuff. Once I start doing some more one-offs when I get a little bit of time, which is a pipe dream, but maybe we'll start to get a little bit more algorithm relevance and that kind of thing. And last comment here by Eben. Akane told Ichan to have sex and it didn't change anything. Very simple explanation of what was going on. Something, yeah, whenever I ask for clarification on those kind of things and it could be solved in a sentence, please just comment. It's so nice just knowing that instead of being like kind of a question mark in my head. Rightio, and now we're back to our notes. We're going to have a little reread about the content of episode 4, because I already reread episode 3. But yeah, let's start here in the red. The red is new. That's my kind of system I have going on. Kunigise gets her computer whiz on and looks for any previous connections between the characters on the island in an attempt to establish motive. I mean, this was just my embellishment, but sure. The main character has a short conversation with Ilya, but she dodges a lot of the questions and goes to bed. She's also very naked, but anyway. Handare, which I got corrected on during the week as well, Handare has a small conversation with the main character on the journey back, where she tries to just kind of, placate, kind of clean up, put out the fires, clean up Ilya's mess. I'm guessing that Handare has a pretty close association with Ilya. That'd be my prediction there. Maki is in the room with Kunigise when we come back, demonstrating to the main character that they should potentially be more careful with potentially a kill on the loose. Leave Kunigise alone. If you care about Kunigise, you don't leave her alone. You know what I mean? Maki is Maki's very interesting. I'm just going to keep saying that. Dinner that night, we notice Akari and Teriko have gone to the mainland, to contact Aikawa. Maki is also just being a bad bitch during dinner. I think she knows a lot of stuff, but doesn't want to say it right now. She wants to just see how it happens, which, fits her character, I think. We noticed something about the painting. I believe that this was the watch, and the watch being on the hand, and that doesn't make any sense because Kanami, she kind of takes a photo with her mind to do the paintings. So if she did that, then the watch wouldn't be there. I think maybe this is an indicator that she maybe was looking at a main character at some point when he had the watch, and that's got my brain ticking as well for what I'm about to say a little bit later. The main character has a chat with Akane down the hall, oversimplification of course. We then talk Hikari through the locked room mystery, and then kind of ask her some questions about what's going on with Ilya and that whole bag, and she refuses to answer, which kind of answers it in the process anyway. The computer gets back to us, telling us of a previous meeting between Akane and Kanami. The main character sleeps in the same bed as Kunigise, and it's revealed that they've shared a bed in the past. And then we scroll down a little bit to look at our ideas. Conversation with Akane and the main character just drifting or going with the flow without making concrete opinions on things. His lack of agency in the story, kind of a subversive thing about the protagonist of the story, not really driving any of the plot stuff forward yet. And then his feelings about women and his feelings about kind of a genius being kind of separated from the pack, right? Like you, just because you're an outcast doesn't mean you're a genius. They're not leaving you out because of something special about you. Sometimes they're just leaving you out because you don't belong. And I think that's a lot of the personal struggles of the main character, right? Is that he was probably in a small pond. He probably thought of himself as pretty smart. He goes to a bigger pond, not so much, and then he's dealing with the repercussions there with the immense natural talent of the people around him. We flip a lot of that into his feelings on Kunigise, being next to her, not wanting her to love, but wanting to be chosen by her. So there's no kind of emotive feeling to it. It's a lot more talent-based. It's a lot more, what do I bring to the table? Why have you chosen me other than just affection? Affection means nothing to me in my fucked up mind, And then there's also those philosophy extracts about when it would be okay to murder people and that kind of bag, which kind of fit in my mind from memory. I thought that they were quite poignant there. Cool. So more mystery prediction stuff, right? I think Akane's dead. I'm gonna come out and say it. I think that's what one of the last shots of the episode was trying to say. There was not a lot of noise coming from that room down there. And if Akane is dead, it is bad news for, and I'm just gonna do it now, the main character. I think if Akane has been killed, the main character is super duper super sus. And I'm seeing a ton of stuff that proves he did it. Maki meeting in episode 4 about leaving someone with Kunagisa. Immediately after this kind of interaction, he leaves somebody with Kunagisa, but also goes and visits somebody that doesn't have anybody with them, knowing that he can get away with a kill. That's kind of an indicator there. That's kind of like a setup. I think Maki knows that he's the killer and is just kind of fucking with people, right? I'm putting my kind of neck on the line here, right? This is what I really think has happened. So I'm not doing any wishy-washy predictions, right? This is what I think. And it could be completely wrong. I could be proven 9 trillion% wrong. But this is what I think right now. And I think that's what we want out of this, right? That's what we want, like some actual genuine concrete predictions. Painting eyes ominous. Why would you paint somebody's eyes that ominous if they didn't look that way before? Why would you have the watch on if you didn't see him with the watch on? Think about it. Like, if she's then painting, she must have either seen the main character before that incident with the watch on, so establishing maybe a little bit more of a motive there, or after, which is what I'm thinking, which is when he came to her room again and killed her. He would also know about the earthquake and the paint falling, so those are two indicators there of the kind of locked room mystery that he set up. That then clicks into the Akane stuff as well, because she solved that all very quickly and then just went along with something. So that makes a lot of sense, right? So killing her because she's way smarter than you, like, I'm just going to scroll right down to the bottom. It would fit with the themes of the show, the have-not getting some amount of revenge or one-over on the supposed genius residents of the mansion. There's the part with the purple prose where Kunagisa undercuts it with a laugh. What if what he was saying was actually just straight up true? I think that's something, right? That the whole blood and the kind of crimeness of the scene blocks any semblance of logic that other people would have about what's going on. He's unaccounted for during this time, so think about it. He's kind of up and awake, thinking about the words of kind of Maki at the table and that kind of thing, right? Just like switch to the next day. Like, we don't see the rest of that night, you know? He has the trust of Kunagisa, like, pretty completely and totally, which is bad because she would be able to figure it out if he did it, right? And I think he has plenty of motive to kill Akane with the means to do it with access to the room. So again, if she's dead, it puts him in the driver's seat. And we still haven't really established a motive of why he would go after Konami, but maybe that can be set up at a later time. Either way, that's what I'm putting my neck on the line for right now. I think he did it. But we're going to see, and we're going to try and see more evidence for this if we can. Either way, there's still something going on with Handa and Ilya and Yayoi and that whole thing, right? About, we're going to dive into that Yayoi stuff at one point, right? Why is she covering for these people? Why are they lying? There's a pretty explicit lie there implied, so we're going to say. So yeah, we've explained the locked room, of course, and why somebody would do that to try to throw some people off. We also have to look at this previous meeting between Akane and Kanami. It could do with previous cases on the island. It could have to do with some kind of motive behind the killings. This is one thing that I've failed to talk about at all. What was the murder weapon? So normally you don't just cut someone's neck off there without anything to cut it off. Where's the weapon? What did we use to cut it? How have we disposed of it? There's something to that as well that we haven't really dove into yet, in my opinion. But yeah, I guess the most concrete prediction going forward is that, yeah, the Yayoi stuff, the Ilya stuff, that's all going to come to pass. I think Akane has died, and I think that we're going to jump into investigating a new case very, very soon. Either way, jumping into the episode now, but not before my shill stuff. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I can do to improve my presentation. Comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you would like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join Discord, love Discord, and Discord. Radio, jumping into a little bit of Kubikiri Cycle, episode 5 of which right now. Radioka, episode 5 of the Kubikiri Cycle, up here ready to go. Let me pop that up on screen there. It's very dark at the moment, but the time code is also 27 minutes and 38 seconds, so sync up accordingly with that one. As always, there will be a picture-in-picture version in the description below. And yeah, just going to give it a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Blood. Body. Wolves die, pigs die. Okay, first person shot. And day 5, so it's the next morning. Kudagisa. What? What? Is it maybe somebody else dead? Why is Kunagisa not up? That's funny. Who? Tell me. Who? Who? How do you know? Oh, okay. You know. Ooh. Did you miss that whole conversation? No, we need to move. Shut up. No, I believe Akane has passed. I think you did it. I'm gonna stand by it. I'm gonna stand by my crack prediction. I like this part where the chorus hits, though. The chorus is pretty good to this song. Interesting. I wonder if there's going to be more deaths after this, then. Still keen to dive into that Yayoi stuff as well. Beheading too! That doesn't bode well. Oh. Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh. Wait. Was she... It is Akane, right? Yeah, must be. I thought it might have been Shikaki Shinya there for a second. Okay. Mm-hmm. Cut off the exact same way as well. Kind of here. Could have just pegged the head through the window. Hmm. Yeah. Who had the keys, you say? Hikari. We'll say. Hmm. Good old Aikawa. Probably not. She's missing a head. Yeah, you need to have a chat, I reckon. You have knives, that could, but they don't really cut like there. Is it time to go to our table again and have another chat? Seemingly so. Another one of these shots, great. Yeah, there's more and more dead characters, huh? 2 a.m. again. Like, about that time of night, we got a phone call. Of course she's still at her head. She spoke to her. Oh, and that's the book? Okay. Hmm. It's true. Okay, whatever you say. You can't? What? Why? It's a really good shot again. I haven't really been paying attention, but sure. She's drinking a cola as well. I've had doctor's certificates all the time that were fraudulent. Hmm. She loves a glass of wine. They're still just drinking all night. Is there? What are you? What are you two doing? Yeah. Okay. Whoa! I need to break that down. Oh, there's little smiles. Who's smiling? Yeah, you should. There you go. You're perfectly fine. I don't agree. Ray is big. Like, she just agrees, you know? There's lots of weird stuff going on with all these alibis. Yeah, with a stupid doctor's certificate thing. There you go. There's 3 possible culprits. There you go. Interesting. We need to have another chat with Yayoi. Well, that's how we got rid of the head, I think. She could have opened it. I think you know all about the room key personally, but... Okay. Oh. Weird. But also, you have no alibi, so... He's acting very forthright this morning. It'd be a stupid killing if she did it. No. Why are you acting the way you're acting? Yeah, but the idea is it's too high from the outside, right? No, it's too high. Unless you had some superhuman jump, which we've established isn't possible. Ooh, that was cool. Like the 2D on the 3D. Are we doing a similar kind of fallacy here? Yes, I agree. Yes, this just makes sense. I don't think she did it, but this makes most sense. Well, didn't we figure this out last time? It clearly wasn't Akane, and that's what we did last time. Exactly. Again, why are we trusting one person verified alibis as well, you know? She's still suspicious. I like this as an idea. Okay, we're gonna have a chat with Hikari. Okay. But there's 10 people. You're gonna want to be with Ray. Oh, all the maids. Well, not all the maids, but you know what I mean. Don't trust any of your people, but anyway. Yeah, but where's the fun in that? Yeah, we got to figure out who did it. You got no chance. Yeah. Did somebody smash your computer? uh, I can't help but hear Hibiki. That's funny. Somebody that maybe knew the information that we'd heard before. There's one particular image you wouldn't want people to see, I don't think. Yeah, there's computers at stake here. Come on. How do you know that? Okay, computer was fine. Good. And they were the last to arrive. And what happened? Well, yeah, it's not like an animal ran in. Well, I mean, I think you did it, but again, we're gonna say. Yeah. What? What are you talking about? What do you mean door? What do you mean by that? Alright, get rid of the corpse. We don't need it. Yeah, I don't think she would like that very much. Just on the cliff, as you do. Oh, she's got a different outfit on. As does he. Yeah, I want to have a look at this too, actually. Wonder what those flowers are. That's very pretty too. Okay. Look at that walk cycle in Kunigisa. Okay. Don't like the repetition at a time like this. For it to become routine. Whatever you say. Oh. Well, I mean, that describes her. Don't like the maids. I mean, Oh. Sounds like he has a pretty eclectic taste. Just everything. Now, Miss Ilya has motives elsewhere. You sure? Yeah, seemingly. Weirdly enough, we do seem like friends. Never? Oh. Is it one of those? Like you're like a maid family? Yeah, the Ichan one may be a little bit more. Ah, jump scared. They're still very nice and stuff, but can we get to the crime scene? No, I can text. Just hop on Discord every now and again. What kind of isolation? Hmm. So even in a moment like this, you're still thinking about all the negative stuff? Oh, well, that's very easy to get to. I see. I see. I see. I see. No, it isn't. Getting out is the only problem. Somebody would need to let you in. That's what I would have thought. But then how do they get out? Ooh, I'm very yawny today. Yeah, no. Yeah, giant gecko man. Oh, this shot's great. Like somebody creeping up. Yeah, but then there would be a blade and the head. Where'd the head go? How would it be sharp enough? Or get her up and then drop her back in? Okay. Yeah. Ooh. It's like I was playing a gotcha game. It is tough to pull somebody up by the neck. Yeah, so open window, put rope down, pull her. No, it doesn't make any sense. No, but think about the line she said at the end of last episode. She's going to be ready whenever and wherever she's going to be killed. Yeah, that's twice this episode. She needs to get back on her photo taking bullshit. Is that honestly it? Shit, that episode flew by. It flew by. I don't think we really even found out that much. Hmm. Hmm. I didn't really get much from that. Like mystery wise, you know? Hmm. We're getting a lot of internal dialogue from the main character, which makes you think that maybe he didn't do it, but there's going to be some kind of something there, I think, right? And then, yeah, jumping into a little bit of a second look on that episode, I think. So I've had a little think to myself, and initially I was like, hey, I should dive into another episode, but I think it's more wise for me to just try to get something out on time and then not delay Symphogear and then delay everything else and just keep on a perpetual delay. I'll just use this as my catch up. And that's okay. We're just going to hyper analyze episode 5, even though it doesn't have that much content. I don't think there's a lot of little interesting tidbits, but not a lot of actual big plot momentum or even big ideas segment stuff like we did in episode 4. That being said, it still was a pretty good episode. I think it flew by, which is it's an indicator that I'm at least into it and I could see myself watching more very, very easily. I do have my kind of stuff here, my recap, my ideas, and my mystery stuff. I guess it's the three categories we're separating it into. So let's just do a quick recap. I've got day 5 here. We wake up to Akari screaming that it's happened again. Akane is dead in the room downstairs. Oh no, kind of as I predicted. It seemed pretty obvious from that. I think there was one lingering shot on her room with nothing happening in it that night. Like, you wouldn't have that kind of scene. You wouldn't have that foreboding scene where she's like, I could be killed anywhere at any time if she wasn't going to get killed. Like, a lot of things just added up for her being the next to go. She was the obvious culprit of the last one, so now we can consider her as very, very much not the culprit of the last one, which is, yeah, again, bad for everybody else, and it's kind of resulted in everyone freaking out and separating into teams and stuff, but we'll get into it. Everyone gathers around, looks at the crime scene, just briefly, just sees that it happened, and then they head to the dining room and establish the next step of the plan. Everyone establishes pretty good alibis. Again, Ilya's alibi is only ever justified by one person or maids that have been there since very, very early in their lives and may trust Ilya explicitly and be part of her master fucking chess plan, just manipulating everybody. Also, Maki and Shinya are just always each other's alibi. They're just drinking together. Again, are we trusting the testimony of somebody that is drunk? I don't know. I don't know what we're doing, really. Either way, from these pretty good alibis, there's 3 people left that have uh, no good alibi, I guess. But again, Kunagisa's is bad too. Anyway, we'll get into it. Hey, we've separated into Hikari, Yayoi, and the main character. Those are the three that have the worst alibis, I guess. The main character defends Hikari, who is the most suspicious on account of her having the keys to the room, which is a pretty big no-no, right? The main character then suggests the formation of teams, which are as follows. Team 1, Hikari Kunagisa main character. Team 2, Ilya, and basically the rest of the maids, and then Team 3, Maki, Shinya, and Yayoi. We suggest these teams because just everybody being out on their own has resulted in deaths. If we all keep an eye on each other, again, this is under the assumption that we're all playing under the same set of rules, which we might not be. We might not all be individually motivated there. We might be trying to cover for each other and that kind of thing. But having these teams together as they are means that no more killings will happen. Of course, I don't think that this is true, and I think this is going to be a big element to whatever next death happens. Either way, Team 1 is sticking together for now. Team 1 goes back to Kunagisa's room to see that her computer has been destroyed. It's implied to be because of the photo evidence from the last case that was on it. The destruction of the computer is seemingly impossible based on where people are supposed to be. We don't really have any hard evidence to this, so we just have to take it on their word that right now it's impossible. So yeah. I think the main character did it personally, and I think that he's still the killer personally. And he's destroyed it because of the photo evidence of whatever was on the painting. I think that's what he was looking at on the computer in that scene, maybe a couple of episodes ago now, I remember. Yeah, that's my theory anyway. Team 1 then buries Akane and establishes some sort of weird friendship between them, right? Even though they will go their separate ways at one point in time, for right now, they're friends. Even as sad as it is, they're all going to go into their own little isolation eventually anyway, and the main character's the only one that sees this and thinks to himself that that's kind of sad, that he can't kind of live in the moment that way. Team 1 then has a quick look at the crime scene. Very quick, like we don't really establish many things other than the window and kind of the window only opens from the inside. I think that's a lot of what we're getting at there. So yeah, how is the validity of the locked room? How did the killer get out if they were let in? All these kind of questions. So then we scroll down a little bit. I didn't really have much on overall themes and ideas. I didn't really have much to say here. Yeah, it's true. Knowledge that friendship will one day end is interesting. I think that's cool from the main character. And the line about Akane being ready to die wherever, whenever is very interesting, I think. More to do with the actual mystery. I've highlighted anything that's new in red, so Akane should be a red herring. I think Akane is dead as fuck. I was right. It's true, I was right. Handare, still siding and helping Ilya. Maids apparently never leave island from young age. How much influence does Ilya have over said maids? Is that something that we should look into? Humongous sus on Ilya for making quick assumptions and only having maids as her alibi every single time. Again, we've just gone into that. I think Ilya is sus for whatever reason. I don't think she's doing the killings. I don't. Again, I think you know who I think is doing the killings by now. Yayoi clearly knows some shit, and I want to speak with her because her reactions to everything have been very, very interesting. There's all these little smiles going on some places as well. It's like she's the plaything of Ilya in some kind of way, right? Like she has forbidden knowledge that she's not allowed to say for whatever reason. It's just interesting stuff. We've got another locked room, but one that may have a more simple answer, i.e. the window, or they stole the key, or something like that. I guess the interesting part of the mystery in this case is, did Akane let the killer in, and why? Why did they let the killer in, and how did the killer get out? Again, I implied it before, but I think the main character wanted the painting destroyed, the photo of the painting destroyed. I think it implied some things about him being the killer that maybe I'm not particularly grasping right now, but may have. I don't know. We'll say. But I think that's why I think the main character destroyed the computer, is because he did it, is because that's all going to come out at some point, right? On top of all that, he's still unaccounted for Akane's death, so he's unaccounted for both Kanami's and Akane's death, which is interesting. The not Ilya stairs thing, Kunagisa stairs thing. Should fix that. Kunagisa. So that's clearly going to come up again at some other point, I think. And the murder weapon. We still haven't established it at all. I started with 3 question marks. I've moved on to like 27. So that's very confusing to me right now. As I said before, episode itself, kind of a, again, interlinking one. We learned that a death had occurred, and we did a lot of stuff kind of in almost a cycle that we did in episode 3. Interesting to dive into a little bit more of the case and that kind of thing in the next episode, I think. But right now we're establishing a lot of stuff, which is good. We just need to remember all of this for next week, I think. Yeah, I'll just go through it again now and have another look and see what I can find, really, and what kind of mystery stuff I can uncover. This was very interesting. Wolves die, pigs die. So it doesn't matter what side of the equation you're on, death is still the ultimate end. And we're kind of going through the body here in a weird way. There's like red blood cells. That's what I think it looks like anyway. And that's our intro to the episode. Again, we know that somebody has died by this point. This was a pretty good indicator that somebody had died. Start with a mad POV shot of Akari, I believe it is, waking up the main character and Kunagisa. A highlight of the scene here, well, one thing I do want to highlight immediately, actually, is over here. This computer is still very much alive. So the computer wasn't already destroyed. Just thought I'd point that out. But also this is Kunagisa, ladies and gentlemen. She doesn't hear anything. She just keeps like clinging to him. So like, she clearly likes him, right? Clearly. He just doesn't have the self-worth to believe it. That's a lot of what we're getting at. Anyway, it's a weird one. It's a lot of what that conversation with Akane was about before as well. Akari comes in immediately. It's your fault, you bastard. You unbelievable bastard. It's happening again. It's happening again. It's all too much. No more, no more. Almost like this cycle has happened many times. She seems to steel herself here and then apologize, saying that she lost control. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. This implies to me that the main character did it, and that there's some kind of overall scheme that Ilya's doing, and that's why she's so sus, because of this whole cycle idea and the mansion, a place out of time, all this other stuff, right? Is this ever going to end? Are they stuck in some kind of purgatory? Is there something there? Or is she just being hysterical for no reason? Very interesting one. I feel like this is indicative of some stuff that I'm not quite sure of yet. But I know it's not your fault. I know it's not your fault. And then the main character's just like, what happened? Please tell me if something happened. Akari is seemingly indicating of something else. There's a mismatch here between the reaction of one party and the other. And then just come to the first floor storeroom. So, as I predicted, Akane's dead down there. I don't think we need to linger on the issue too much. So, Kunagisa seemingly didn't hear any of that and just woke up now, looking all very cute and stuff. Doesn't realize a killing's taken place. Could you do it with my hair? Blah, 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 blah. No, there's some more serious stuff in the way of doing that, I guess. We see the butterflies again. That was the red butterflies in particular. I think that was an Akane indicator in a previous episode. I don't remember her wearing a suit like this, but sure. Kind of some smart business stuff. But yeah, this the same cut on the neck, like straight through the delts, like very difficult cut. Again, I'm waiting with bated breath on that murder weapon for sure. The door was locked, Hikari. I was sure of it. So Hikari is the one that carries the keys, and there's a lot more in like kind of stuff about the book and that kind of bag that we'll get into a little bit later. But yeah, there's reasons why Hikari is sus. I don't believe she did it for kind of meta-y reasons, but anyway, I digress. These two always very casual, and I wanted to highlight Yayoi if I can catch her. Yeah, there. Just like not looking. Interesting one. I'm not quite sure what to make of you, Sashirono Yayoi. Not quite sure at all. The window is seemingly the most important element of this room right now. Like it's the main thing that is the cause of what has been going on. So it's interesting, right? Kanami's room, lots of shit going on. Paint everywhere. It's a larger room. There's a big window we need to consider. There's the telephone part of it. There's the everything else. We've got a way more simple case here, and that's what makes it even more hard. There's straight up no logical way you can think around certain things here right now. So the whole point of the storeroom is that it locks from the outside. So if somebody drops down this window to kill Akane, they can't get out. They can't climb up back out of the window. They can't do any of that, right? So it would need to imply that they either killed her remotely, leaving no evidence, or that they used the front door and used the key. This is where I'm thinking that the main character did it by somehow sneaking a key off Hikari in that scene that they had just before they went to bed. You know what I mean? Where they're explaining the locked room. I think there might be something there with that, but I don't know how else to extrapolate upon that. I don't think it's particularly logical that he did it at 2 a.m. because that doesn't make any sense, because there's a time in which she handed the book to Akane and then she's alive, you know? So it couldn't have been during that time, that little gap. Weird. Either way, it's very similar to the last case, probably by design, implying that it's the same killer, but it could be a copycat, of course. We now have a murder sequence. I'd suggested locking Akane here to prevent that happening, but that's not what happened. Here's why I'm going to bring it up. This is the biggest kind of question mark on my theory, is that we're in the thoughts of the main character a lot, right? And there has to be some kind of justification for why he's trying to solve the case that he's done, in my theory, right? Why? Why, right? In the past, it was Kunigisa really thrusting forward on the investigation, and that made a lot of sense as a character that kind of just drifted by. But now he's seemingly leading the charge. Think about the scene in the dining room here in a second. He's taking the lead, almost like a protagonist there, right? Like, that doesn't fit with what I had going on, my whole just kind of blending into the background as the main character idea. Weird. Maybe that's the biggest hole, I think. Mushano Koji. That was the book that that they were talking about, the philosophy book, during that conversation that they had in episode 4. I remember. Huh. Weird. Okay, that's another weird connection to that conversation that the main character and Akane had. Suggesting maintaining status quo till Aikawa gets here seemed like the best plan. Well, now that plan is in tatters. Was the mention of this Aikawa potentially something that forced somebody's hand, you know? Like, she knew everything. She had planned some stuff out. She figured out the part of the mystery, you know? She clearly had more information than she should have. Is that why she had to die? She felt very safe there. Another Yayoi moment as she kind of shudders at the sight of the body. Yeah, and again. And then just briskly walks away. Interesting. And then, yeah, we're back in the dining room, Ilya kind of pulling him away from noticing Yayoi even more. So then we start to get into some of the facts of the case. I think it was Hikari, I believe. Hikari is the one that had the keys. She got a call from that storeroom. Akane's like, "Can you bring me the book?" And she's like, "Sure." She hands over the book. She's clearly still alive at this moment. And then we move from there, right? So it must have happened after 2 a.m. according to this piece of evidence, unless Hikari is the killer. And now we go through our alibis. First, main character, no alibi. And because you two were sleeping together or sleeping in the same room, you two clearly, if you don't have an alibi, then Kunigisa doesn't have an alibi either. No, I have an alibi. I can't go downstairs alone. Getting this reaction out of Ilya, which I thought was quite funny. So there is a rule. It's not called anything else, right? It is completely and utterly true. This has to happen. She cannot use stairs without Ichan present, right? Then she asks this question of both the table and the audience. Have you ever seen me climbing stairs alone since I arrived here? I can't say I really even noticed, right? That's not really something I was looking out for, but sure, I guess I haven't. Apparently this is verifiable from a certificate from her doctor. So we must believe this is true to this point, because doctor certificates could never be fraudulent. Yeah, I'm about as suspect of this as Ilya is, I think. Himina doesn't really speak up much this episode at all. She was just drinking with Shinya. Is there something going on there? These two seem to be hanging out a lot, but maybe they just like to drink together. That's fair enough too. So we've established that Maki and Shinya have a, albeit shaky, but still an alibi, you know. Yayoi, no alibi at all, just sleeping by herself. You know, as you do. But this is the stuff I want to break down, right? I woke up at 6 and began making breakfast. From that point on, Hikari helped a bit, so she can speak for me, I guess. We see Yayoi's eye goes to Ilya's mouth. She smiles a little bit, and then crack back to Yayoi, and she looks away. Still clearly something going on here with their alibis and that kind of thing. Ilya maybe has some dirt on her or something, making her not speak, as these unfortunate things continue to occur. Hikari, no alibi. She kind of just woke up and did her normal maid stuff, but also gave the book at 2 o'clock. She has the keys, clearly the most suspect. I suppose I should speak for myself for a moment. Little click of the finger on the teacup there. I was talking to Ray in my room all night. Ray doesn't even speak. These two are clearly in like cahoots or something, right? Like this can't be. It can't be it every time, you know. Like something's got to give. Yeah, don't you agree, Ray? Like, come on, man. These two are clearly associated. She's probably her personal maid. How can she be a really good alibi person? Second opinion. And then there was a really weird scene there. Akari and Teriko only got back from the mainland from seeing Aikawa and contacting him at 9. 9:30 is when we've seen the body. So that's very, very quick. Clearly, they probably couldn't have done it. But there also was a quick shot of her glasses glazed over. Maybe there's more than meets the eye there. The main character is seemingly questioning it a little bit, I think. So the ones without alibis are the main character, Yayoi, and Hikari. Hikari also has a smile on her face as this is happening, which is a little bit weird. This is what I mean before. Now the main character is doing main character things. He's taking charge of the scene. He's asking questions. He stood up out of the seat. The camera's following him. All this kind of stuff, right? Like, it's clearly that there's been some change here, I think. That's what I'm thinking anyway. There's a little bit more agency to it all. So now we establish some stuff about the case. First, the window. Window cannot be opened from the outside. Can only be opened from the inside. Was not open at 2 o'clock when Hikari gave that book to Akane. The only keys in the entire place were on Hikari. So if we were going to do any spare key, copy key nonsense, it would need to be some other justifiable means other than it just existing. What kind of lock was it? You click it, you turn it, it clicks like a normal lock. Did you check that you locked it? Yes, I checked several times to be sure. So, alright, this whole thing, right, it's establishing that door not possible unless Hikari did it, I think, right? Or unless somebody has stolen it, but we would need to see evidence for that for the mystery to make sense. The only other two characters that we've seen with Hikari are the main character and Kunigisa. So, unless there was some fuckery there, I don't think the door's an option. Therefore, that's why we turn to the window in the upcoming scenes, I guess. Could there have been somebody else in the room at this point in time? Potentially. Like, the corners were dark. I didn't go in the room, but, like, why would there be? I think this is a little bit of a weird question. I don't think that this is where we're going. They keep asking questions like this, like, weren't you scared? Sonoyama could have been the killer. It'd be a bad killing, you know? Like, I'm just going to kill somebody right in front of the room where I'm staying when I'm the most logical suspect to the last case, according to everybody as well. I'm just gonna kill the first person I see, like I'm on some kind of rampage. She's like the smartest character on the island as well. Why would she do this, you know? Like, it's a silly question from Yayoi, I believe. How can you say that you didn't think that Soniyama was the killer? Looks over to the main character, clear that she's thought through the whole locked room thing, thinks that what they were talking about was correct, but can't tell that to the group because we told everybody to keep it a secret. So, next element to the locked room is the distance between the ground and the window. You can't really get up to it to get out. You can get in fine, right? As we see on the outside. But getting out is the trouble. If we don't have a key, we can't get out, you know? So right now, I'm thinking the only logical thing would be that somebody is hiding in the corner and then just managed to like kill her and slip out, or kill her and slip in and slip out, or something like that. That's the only thing I can think of right now that would make sense. We may have been on the right track about killing her from a distance, but again, we've picked up the head and taken it somewhere, right? So clearly we kind of like just thrown like a big saw blade at her, you know? There has to be some more kind of finesse to what we have going on. And then we get into this part of it. It's kind of Ilya versus the main character. Ilya is very, very sure that Hikari did it. She is, objectively speaking, the most suspicious. But the main character thinks, hey, we can't make the same mistake we did with the Akane one, right? We can't just assume that the most suspect one did it. That's what led us to this situation in the first place. We need to try a different tact. It's a clear standoff between these two now, kind of Ilya, who wants a quick fix to this problem, and the main character who wants to thoroughly investigate a little bit more. I feel like Ilya still got her way in the end by pairing her up with a bunch of her maids who are clearly associated with her. Like, we have to think about what's going on here in greater context with the entire mystery of the island and the past cases and the idea of a Kubikiri cycle and the main character's kind of feelings of inadequacy and lack of agency and all these other things, right? We have to consider all the ideas of the story to make our case work. It can't just simply be a logical deduction. That's what I'm thinking right now. Like, the story has to make sense first and foremost as a piece of emotive fiction. Shoutouts to the lighting in a couple of these scenes. They do a pretty good job of kind of blowing everything out and making the characters seem, it's like a face-off, I like that part of it. Then the main character suggests the teams, as I've gone through the teams before, but we get some visuals of them here. Here's Team A, and then here's Team B, of course, which isn't suspect at all. And here's Team C, kind of the rest. But Yayoi is interesting. We need to talk with her. Like, I I get the feeling that you're just having a grand old time. You just know exactly what's happening, and you're just playing along. Poor old Shinya, he's just kind of like third wheeling it now. That's funny. So, if we wanted to completely and totally prevent killings in a completely and totally logical manner, we could do what Hikari's saying here. We could all just stay in the room, we'd go out, get food, come back, all sleep in the same place, blah, 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 blah. That is a pretty good way to ensure that nobody dies. However, Team A, team main character, they have a mystery to solve, so they're going to go do that instead. Yeah, again, I think this is another indicator that something has changed here. He's a little bit more main character-y. Okay, now we get back to see the computer. The computer has been destroyed. There is water on the computer. The circuits are fried. You can't recover any of it. It's all fucked. Kunigisa has a big old whinge about it, which is pretty funny. I like this. But it poses the question, who did this? And we're going to see the logistics of why this is a weird question. Kunigisa took photographs of Kanami and the studio and moved them to her hard drive. Here is a picture of the photo that I think was the reason why it got destroyed, which is the whole watch thing. We needed this computer destroyed. Who did it? I think you did it. But how? So now we go through who could have done it. We noticed the computer in the first scene, it's fine. We've kind of followed the whole group. We were the last to arrive at the thing, then we followed everyone to the dining room, then we went into teams, and we come back and it's destroyed. How? How has this occurred? We get this intercut with kind of scenes of the main character's mind, and it's kind of sparking. Well, not sparking, but there's electricity, Who could have done it? Who could have done it? I didn't know. Yet another mystery. So we can't quite figure it out. But I think it's you. I think you did it. I think that maybe you like Kunigisa just walked away first and you just stayed and destroyed the computer or something like that. Yeah, I don't know how he did it, but I think he did it. Just like, yet another mystery. How do you know that the killer did it as well? Why would you think that? Because it has evidence in those photos that show that who the killer is, and they know that. Weird. I think you did it. I'm going to keep saying it. So this is just impossible. But is this a key? If this is a key, then where is the door? Does this indicate some larger piece of the overall mystery that I'm just missing right now? Either way, this is a big piece of evidence for him. He looks at this and thinks, shit, this is my step to completing this whole thing. Even if I don't see it right now. Weird. Weird one. Cool, so now we're going to go bury Akane. We're not going to bury her next to Kanami because I don't think she would have liked that. Also, everyone's changed clothes, which is nice, into a little bit more of a fancy dress, I guess. And since we're out here, we're going to go see the storeroom from the outside and see what the deal is with the window. Shoutouts to this one background because I'm just looking at it now and it's just fucking awesome. Like, how good's that? That must add like a mad reference image. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. And then we get a little bit of friendly banter between these three. We go through the main character's fetishes a bit and that kind of jazz. The main kind of idea of it for me was the main character not really living in the moment and thinking about how we'll all go our separate ways eventually. just unable to lose himself in the moment, unable to look at anything emotionally, but only logically, and as a result, continues to isolate himself even further. Just an interesting little thought there. He does say that he doesn't like repetition, even at a time like this, kind of like a cycle, right? Weird, weird. But he is kind of. But if I'm right, and he is the killer, he is kind of repeating a cycle. Like he's killing people every like day, right? The main character kind of feels like he shouldn't be thanked for all of this, and that it's fine, and that if I was in the same situation as you would have done the same thing. You haven't lied to me. We trust each other, that kind of thing. That's why we're kind of friends, or at least Kunigisa implies the word anyway. Kunigisa continues to assert that she knows that Ichan and Hikari can't be the killer. Like, I know that they're your friends and stuff, but you can't just trust people like that. But I think a huge part of the story is going to be why Kunigisa, a very smart person, isn't suspecting the main character, or Hikari for that matter, right? What has happened in her past to make her feel this way and implicitly trust people? Is that trust going to be rewarded? But yeah, the scene here kind of matches the main character's point of view on it all, right? It may seem like sunshine, happy friend scene where we're all going to make up and it's all going to be okay, but we're slightly in the shadow. It's slightly the wrong time of day for this to be happening. The main character's slightly separated from everything else. It just feels off. Something about it, right? Like, not all the cards are on the table. I think it's pretty well directed in that regard. I feel like there's something hiding in plain sight here. And then he kind of goes into his like depression rant about the whole thing, which is kind of his bag at this moment, right? Just kind of really been gloomy about the whole thing. And now we're at the window, and now we get a very, very much more logistical about the whole thing, right? Here's the window, so it isn't as high from the outside as it is the other side, right? It would be very easy for somebody to be at this window and access Akane, basically, if she opened the door, that is. So yeah, has somebody knocked? Has Akane let somebody in? Surely Akane would know the dangers of the situation, but we did have that little line at the end of episode 4 about her being ready to die. Would that still make her let a potential killer in and just kill her? I don't know. Does it seem like there's a grand struggle there? I don't know. Okay, so say she did invite a killer in and he did kill her. How did the killer get out? This is the biggest question of this case so far. It's the part that really makes no sense and is stumping me. I have no idea how they could have gotten out. Shoutouts to this shot here, bit of that shaky cam on it, like somebody's approaching, like a killer would approach this window if they were responsible. I've seen a lot of good camera work in this show so far. It's one of the real highlights. They're really flexing that directorial muscle. Again, similar to the last kind of round table scene as well, the camera's all over the place. We're checking different people's expression. It's flipping over. It's doing all sorts of stuff. It's just well done. I think they really understood the assignment in this regard. The main character comes up with this crack theory about a rope and pulling her up, and then killing her up here, and then letting it all go down. One, no. Like, who would put their head in a noose and let themselves be pulled up like that and killed up there and then dropped back down? Two, where's all the fucking blood? So this is a bad plan. This just doesn't make any sense at all. But if they did it from a distance by throwing something, of course there'd be some evidence left in the room that they would need to go down and collect, and as we know, they can't set foot on the ground there unless it was something like tied to a bit of rope. Like they could throw it and then pull it back. But then how would they get the head? Again, I'm pretty sure this isn't the answer. Apparently, the number one reason why this couldn't happen is because they're too heavy. I do like this. We got a little bit of a UI for the different people in the mansion, and if they could have done stuff like that, right? So Sakaki Shinya before Earthquake, he has an alibi, and after the Earthquake, he has an alibi. That's why he's got these two little circles. I should probably do a diagram like this as well. That'd be funny. About the alibis. I know that the main character doesn't have two in a row now. It's very cool. And then, yeah, towards the end of the episode, we kind of just go, I feel like we're close to something, but not really. Anyway, let's walk away and we'll deal with this later. If I think back to it, maybe this is similar to episode 3 as well. I think that Kunigisa got hungry at a certain point in time as well, and the episode just kind of ended as they were walking away with a shovel from burying one of the people. If that's not a cycle, what is, So yeah, we go eat some lunch, and then the ED starts up here. So yeah, that was episode 5. Again, quite good, interlinking. Got a few more ideas there, but again, I don't really have an answer to how the killer completed this particular mission in how I had the kind of logical fallacy idea last time. Yeah, I don't really have anything, which is a bit frustrating, but sure. I think the main character is very suspect, but I don't really know why at this point, other than thematically. I mean, I have a bunch of evidence, but it's circumstantial, it's not concrete. But I think that's the nature of the show as well. I'm wondering how, if this is true, how Kunagisa is going to react to this information and that kind of thing. I think that'll be interesting. But yeah, it seems like we're in a bit of a cycle at the moment. Hopefully we can break out of it, or Aikawa shows up early, or something happens there. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I know where episode 6 is going. We're just going to keep talking around in circles and trying to find the answer and blah, 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 blah. Kunagisa will get some kind of plan, and then we'll move from there. Maybe another death at episode 7, kind of like a cycle. But either way, I think I'm going to leave it at that today. Just, kind of catching up, bit of a breather week, that kind of thing. And yeah, looking forward to more next week, whether that be 1 or 2 episodes, depending on what I decide's a better structure, I guess. Anyway, shill stuff. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation. Comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you would like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join Discord, love Discord, and Discord, and Discord, and Discord. Yeah, I'll leave you guys with that. And yeah, looking forward to more next week, but goodbye for now, and see you next time for more Kubikiri Cycle. Radio. Catch you guys later.